All right, we have UCLA, Ethan Champlin, Merrick McHenry, head coach John Spurra. If you want to start with a opening statement, coach, we'll move to questions.
Yes, excited to be here. Like everyone, I'm sure, feels like it's been a blink, but we just ended up consistently over the course of the season, just match by match by match by match, and really I think how I've summarized it in a number of conversations this week already is it just seems like we were so consistent in the way that we approached every single match from a competitive mindset. I don't know that we really had any significant emotional, competitive energy letdown throughout the entire course of the season. And I think that was remarkably true even in the training environment. I don't remember very many days where, there's some of course, but some are better than others, but really in terms of just the consistency that we came to practice and compete every single day, every single match has just been really impressive to me. To be 29-2 and all the matches that we played this year, I look back, part of me is like, I'm not sure how that happened because it was just very progressive in the way that we did it. And so I'm proud of the guys for the way they've handled themselves in such a really committed, mature way. And that's certainly one of the things that we've addressed early was just we wanted to be committed in how we were handling ourselves, and I think the guys did that very, very well. So excited to be here. This team deserves it. From here on out, it's going to probably be 5-set matches and a point here or there that's going to make a difference. But we're in this position like we've hoped all year long, and we're ready to go compete.
Ethan, Vinny Lips here from Off the Block. I want to take you back to last year a little bit. Obviously, tough semifinal match. You know, you lose it. How much hunger did you have and your players have kind of having that feeling going into this season, wanting to get to that next level and win the title again after last year?
Yeah, obviously last year was kind of a bummer. We wanted to play in that match and have a chance to win a title, and our team definitely took that with us this year. Even in our locker room, we have a picture of all of our reactions after that final ball dropped, and we're all, kind of heads down, and as just motivation for this coming season. And I think we've really taken that to heart and worked hard this year.
And the question for both players, you played Long Beach earlier this season, beat them. Long Beach has been very open, saying we're a bit of a different team from now. So what have you seen in the film on Long Beach where they've looked a little bit more improved than the last time you played them?
I'd say Clark's playing pretty good at this point in the season, and they're getting their middles going. They're just playing better team volleyball. I think that's the biggest part with the new outside with Sotos playing for them. Just getting that team camaraderie there, and you can tell they're playing good ball and they're playing it together. So.
And then same question for you, Merrick.
Yeah, kind of same what Champlin was saying. I think, they're just playing better volleyball as a whole right now. I think, Tori's been playing great, and they're definitely, been trying to feed the ball to him and keep him in the match and things like that. So they've definitely been playing better volleyball than when we first saw them, but I think we are too. So yeah.
And then coach, for you, obviously this will be your, I believe, first match in about 10-11 days since the MPSF finals. Has there been anything that you've done in this time off to make sure the guys are still fresh, but the offense is still clicking and everything, so you're ready to go for the semifinals?
It's a great training question. I don't know that I have all the answers for it in terms of how you handle that time off and how you handle the bye. It's a balance between how much rest do you give them on the front end, how long each practice is, what the volume of lifting is, and then what you're doing in each and every day. It's been very intentional, and I'll let you know at the end of the week how it worked. So I don't know. I'm sure there's different ways to handle it. We've tried to make sure that we were studious in how we did it and used the time to prepare for potential opponents. Certainly is an advantage in that respect to have a week off for everybody, right? I mean, it used to be you just charge right into the next week. That week off is probably good for prep for everybody. How you handle the bye is a whole different deal. But yeah, I don't know. We worked hard. We trained hard. We have a deep team, so I think that certainly is an advantage for us because we can go into the gym and practice and get good results.
And then question for both Merrick and Ethan. you all have been here before, but you have some freshmen who haven't. What advice have you given those freshmen as they prepare for the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, I think, we've been able to have just a lot of conversations just as the entire year has gone on. I think our schedule has honestly prepared us for this moment. It's prepared Rowan, and we've had matches that we've definitely felt pressure, and we've had matches where we've been in the big arenas and we've been the underdogs. We've, had our 40 fans in our little corner in Hawaii. So I think, a lot of it has just been us making sure that we love on our teammates and we just let them know that we have their backs. But I think Rowan's such a competitor and he's such a baller. And I think just how, I've been giving just Rowan's feedback and tips on just big moments and things like that. I think he's been able to do the same for me. And he's also just been able to help me feel just a lot of peace during this time. And I think with Rowan, I've been able to focus a lot, so.
Yeah, I'd say I kind of didn't really offer any advice personally to any of the freshmen coming to UCLA, and like Merrick said, the schedule that we've had, we've played all the best teams, so you're kind of training for this moment, obviously all season. So not too much advice. We've prepared ourselves throughout the year and played consistent volleyball with good mentality, obviously good team camaraderie. So we're just ready to play.
Jason Connoisseur from the Honolulu Star Advertiser coach. When we saw you guys in March, talked about how that tournament was going to have kind of a Final Four atmosphere, right? So how much did that weekend kind of prepare you guys now for this opportunity, and how much did that do for the growth of your team going forward from there?
I think it was a great tournament, it really was. You set up those schedules a year in advance, you don't really know exactly how it's all going to shake out, and for those teams to all be there in one weekend, it was exciting, great for the fans. The environment, of course, was fantastic. The pressure that you're under when you play UH in Hawaii with a crowd like that, when it's 1 versus 2, is obviously very simulative of what you might have here. So I think it prepared us quite a bit. It was great to play Hawaii, to be quite honest. We didn't play them last year. It was fun to play them this year. They're a great team. We love playing great teams. They're really well coached. They're just a really talented, smooth group of guys that are experienced, right? I mean, they're the ones that have come in here with the most experience. So I think it was really good for us to play them. And then obviously Penn State has just been outstanding this year. Such a good volleyball team. I was watching them play last night, and there's no weaknesses there. They're just consistently across the board solid, good volleyball players. So I mean, we're talking about some great semifinals here. So yeah, I think that tournament really was great for us.
And speaking of Andrew Rowan, ABC newcomer of the year, right? So obviously seen his development from when he took over full time, now into this week.
It's been fantastic. He came here a very, very good volleyball player, and you could see that immediately. So his growth and development so far this year has been, he has been very intentional in how he's worked on different aspects of his game. How he's fit in with the offense, I think has been, you could ask these guys, but I think it's been remarkably, I guess smooth is the word, right? Because it isn't always, because it's not always perfect connections, and we're trying to figure some things out, and but the communication is there. And I think the maturity from his perspective is there. And so I think he's a freshman coming in who's having very adult conversations with the staff and the seniors and the upperclassmen about what needs to be done on the volleyball court. It just doesn't feel like a freshman to me. And so I think his growth throughout the course of the season was both individual, but certainly more just this collective and how he worked with the group. I think that's been the most impressive thing for me to observe. Obviously, it's year 1, so I'm observing how he is as a player, and I think he's had a remarkable impact here already as a young player.
Question for the players. How do you see that second semifinal tomorrow? I mean, you're familiar with both teams, and who has the scariest player?
Scariest player, I'd have to say, I think Nucleus is a great player. I think, he's just someone who, when everyone in the gym knows the ball's going to him, he still puts balls away. So I definitely think, if that is the final that we end up facing, I think he's a guy that we're gonna have to stop. But I think both of those teams have a lot of good guys, just like Coach was saying, who put balls away and do their jobs and do them really well. So yeah, no matter who we face, we know that it's probably going to be a 5-setter, and we're going to use our bench and use everyone we need.
Ethan, what do you think?
Yeah, as Coach Frost said, it's probably going to be a lot of 5-setters and definitely some good battles. There's a lot of good players out there. You know, the All-American list came out recently, and just to see the caliber of players that are on that list and people that are so deserving of it, really. So I'd say, you know, every team's got some pretty, I guess, scary players to play against. But you know, we're ready. We're ready for whatever.
And Coach, one last question from me. That just went out. Yeah, I'll have Vinny the mic. I will think.
Well,
about
maybe
it.
just to answer the scary,
Oh.
okay? I think the collective scary is pretty, that's out there, right? You think about the overall talent level of Penn State, and even last night they go in and battle. First of all, Ohio State was pretty impressive last night. They played very, very well. And without Toby being 100% healthy, he's a beast, right? So he could be scary. You got guys on Long Beach that can be scary. You certainly have guys on Hawaii that can be scary. There's just this, I think, as Ethan said, I think you look at just that list and the group of guys that are representing Hawaii that are on the All-American list, and the group of guys that are representing Penn State and Long Beach and UCLA, and you have the 4 best teams playing in the semis, and so they're represented on those All-American teams justifiably, and so. Last year, I know we went in the semifinal and you're playing Long Beach with Nikolov. You're going to spend an inordinate amount of time talking about one guy. And I just feel like you're going into this Final Four and you're not talking about one guy, you're talking about a bunch of guys. That's how I'm seeing it.
Okay, the old lady in me actually remembered what we were.
Great, I was trying to help you out.
Yeah.
Thank you, it did come back. High risk, high reward on the service line.
Yeah.
It feels like you folks have gotten much more efficient more recently.
Uh-huh.
And how does that play into what happens on the rest of the side out scoring and everything?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think there's this probably a little bit of a misperception that I'm happy about service errors. It's not the case. I just think it's the decisions we have as coaches that you're looking at the way the game is played today. You're not going to go talk to a baseball coach and you're not going to find anybody bunting in the major leagues anymore. They don't do that anymore. They swing for the fences, everybody. You're going to watch the NBA, you know, they're going to take a bunch of shots. Now maybe you have the Lakers and you can pound it down and he's going to, thank you, as a phenomenal, lifetime Laker fan, Anthony Davis. If you have someone like Anthony Davis, you might change the way you play the game. But across the board, they shoot threes because they know if you don't shoot threes, you're going to lose. And if you miss threes, you're going to lose, but you're going to go for the win. And I think that's how serving has been. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm okay with service errors. I would like to serve the ball in more than we do. We train it so that we become more efficient, and I'm glad you think we have been more efficient. That's good.
Yeah. Is it true?
I think it probably is true. So how you need to put pressure on other teams, though, you're playing great teams here, and I think you're going to see what you see sometimes even in like the Olympics. Like you get to the end, guys are just ripping. They're just going to go in there and they're going to rip. And I think you saw that. Hawaii has been a very efficient serving team historically. And so, but you watch how they played against Irvine in the final, and what were they doing? They were ripping. So you're going to get into this match, and at some point, someone's going to be down, a team's going to be playing at a very high rate, and a coach is going to go in and say, hey, it's go time. And you're either you're going to hit it in, and you got a shot, you're going to hit it out, and you're going to lose. But that's a choice you're going to have to make. And those choices will be made this weekend at some point by some teams. And so you got to be prepared to perform under those conditions. And if that's what we need to do, that's what we have the capacity to do that. Like we have some guys that can really serve the ball. And if we need to go do that to win it, that's what we'll do.
Just to follow up on that for both the players, obviously each arena poses its own kind of challenges when serving. How do you feel the sight lines are in this arena? How did you feel your first practice serving in here?
I really like the gym. The lights are great here,
Yeah.
so I got no problems with it. Lighting's great. they're in good spots, so not really in your way whether you're hitting out of system or serving or passing. I like it.
Yeah, I'd agree. I would say I really like the gym, and it's always nice too to like come in one day and be able to just watch matches and then be able to actually step on the court and start to like get a little feel and start visualizing for yourself while you're on the court. So yeah, it's definitely a super nice gym and super big, which we're used to back home. So yeah, super exciting.
Just one or two more questions for me, Merrick. I want to ask you this question. I grew up in the Dallas suburbs.
Love, yeah.
I couldn't imagine 10, 15 years ago interviewing someone from the Dallas area in this NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
So what do you want people to know about Texas men's boys volleyball?
Totally, yeah. That actually means a lot to me because growing up and just being from Texas, I, dreamed about playing collegiate volleyball and I dreamed about being an Olympian, and there was just a lot of people around me who just kind of told me that probably wasn't going to be your path and, just probably wasn't possible solely just because, being from Texas, men's volleyball isn't much of a sport or a thing. And, sometimes when I tell people I play volleyball at UCLA, they're like, what? Really? So yeah, it's definitely I'm just super thankful for just everyone and the coaches, honestly, just for believing in me and giving me an opportunity to come out to LA and, do my best to work hard and just get a starting role. But ultimately, I think I just want, everyone from Texas just to know that no matter what people say and just no matter what kind of labels or things people might try and place on you, you are more than capable of just being yourself. And I love being myself, and I love being unique and being different and still being from Texas and being from a place where I might not agree with everything, but ultimately I love being a men's volleyball player from Texas, and I hope I can be someone that helps grow the sport back home.
And then John, I did want to ask you about Mason Briggs. I know you've had the opportunity to not only see him in the college level, but international. I want to ask how you feel his game right now compares to the game of Eric Soji and other top international liberos.
He's not that far off. I mean, I think he's going to need to go play overseas and get that experience. He's not beating out Eric right now, but I think he's got the capacity to be a starting libero for Team USA down the road. I think as you start to put these teams together and you start looking towards Paris, obviously is right in front of us. And so the opportunity for someone to come in and beat out Eric is unlikely. But if you start looking at LA 2028, Brisbane 32, I think he's at the top of the list of the conversation about who could play that game. So yeah, he's an outstanding libero. I really enjoy coaching him. Yeah. I really don't enjoy him on an opposing team.
And then final question for me, Coach. I've been following you on Instagram this year. You
great.
Post a lot. It's been great because I kind of see you beyond the volleyball court.
Yeah.
One of the things that we've seen is you and your daughters, especially having your daughters involved in this team, whether they're in the locker room or at practice.
Yeah.
I want to ask, how important is that for you as a dad to make sure that your daughters are a part of your job and what you're experiencing?
Gosh, being a coach, they almost have to be. It's such an immersive profession. At the same time, it's a real gift. I just think these guys are great role models. The girls are really connected. I love it when they're around because I know they're around great people, which is what we want for our kids. My wife, Michelle, is just phenomenal about supporting us and the team and me and making sure the girls are engaged. And I mean, my 7-year-old Brooklyn, she is just like, knows every single number of every single player. She's drawing pictures of the guys during matches. I mean, she does, and they have a great time. They're with us this whole week, which is fantastic, and they're just really enjoying themselves. So, yeah, no, thanks for asking. I think it is really important as the family atmosphere, as a family journey. We're all in this. The guys are great with that. It is important for me, I think, to role model being a good dad too. Like, I think we as coaches are not just teachers of the game, but I think we're role models. And I think I would like the men to see how I am as a dad and the ups and downs and challenges and how to just own that as part of your journey. And so I think they see that because I do my best to own it.
Thank you guys. Good